People are curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How do you end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do. Anytime you get it, I'm pretty sure they do. You know, there's how do I end up in here?
Never let anyone, something another woman friend of mine, Joy, told me, never let anyone take you off your square. And if it feels uncomfortable, then you are probably not in the right place. You know, just don't sell your soul. You know, and men and women do this. You know, I would say even to young boys. I've seen young boys get turned out in this industry too.
You know what I'm saying? BET, they had a nigga about to perform up there, whatever. But under the circumstances of me performing, I couldn't fuck with that shit, you know what I'm saying? Because they were trying to get a nigga to do some off-brand corner shit. Free band gang, I'm just not about to sell my soul for no red carpet, no publicity stuff.
Yeah, you feel me? Let's do some real nigga shit right now.
I gotta fuck with Supper Club, because at the end of the day, when I wake up, I know they all fuck with me and I fuck with y'all.
Kendall Jenner gets vampy. Kendall keeps it goth in the Twilight-inspired shoot.
And there's also parts in the album where you speak to Lucy, Lucifer,
Yep,
the devil. So you
it's trippy.
You see both sides of.
Yeah, man. It's when I go inside, I may do an after party. I see it all around, man. I may do an after party, and this is how I'll be able to write these records, because it's not just the positive energy that speaks to me. It's the negative too. It's the evils too, and we all have temptations.
Right.
You know. Me, I'm just fortunate enough to translate them temptations through record.
Right.
You know, I always said this is truly a gift for me. Putting these records out is a gift for me, because I'm not only a voice for myself, but I'm a voice for people who can't express themselves like that.
Right.
And Lucy is one of my favorite records because it's me actually coming to realization of the evils rather than acting like it's not going around. My thoughts are not happening. My thoughts are happening right in front of my face. I gotta present them.
That reminded me, in a way, and not to compare it to anything, because I do think this is an original, maybe one of the most original works we've seen in a long time, but it reminded me a little bit of Snoop.
Yeah.
And Murder Was the Case, where he had that conversation with the devil, with Lucifer, and that temptation was in his face. And
of course. Seems like
Lucifer Morningstar, is that a stage name?
God-given, I'm afraid.
Why don't you tell me something? How did she end up dying in a hailstorm of bullets and you get away without a scratch?
The benefits of immortality. What will your corrupt little organization do about this?
We're done here.
Someone out there needs to be punished.
Stop caring. You're the devil.
I
America's most watched network unveiled its fall primetime lineup last night, including 7 shows making their debut. Among them, the highly anticipated comedy Angel from Hell.
We're never supposed to intervene in a human's life.
Oh, is that some sort of angel rule?
As a matter of fact, it is, yes. We're supposed to help from afar. Be subtle about things, you know, like implant an inspirational thought or nudge you towards a conditioner that would give your hair that perfect bounce.
The Pantene?
You're welcome.
2 stars from the upcoming series on the Sci-Fi Network, Childhood's End. Sounds interesting just from the title alone, but it's a unique series, guys. Is it kind of like a mini-series?
Yeah, absolutely it is, yes.
But nice. I think I like the format of it. It's you know, 3 nights in a row.
I play, as you say, a character called Karelin, who is an overlord. And the overlords come to Earth at a time when there is economic crises, wars, disease. The world's in a very bad way. Arthur C. Clarke wrote that in 1954. Here we are in 2015. We have economic crises. We have people with not enough food to eat. We have an increasingly serious war going on in the Middle East. So, you know, anyway, what happens is that these superior beings come to Earth to supervise the running of the planet. And we eradicate disease, economic crises, wars, and create a utopia that lasts for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
But utopia comes at a price.
Of course.
Just being in such an infrastructure like BET, and I still work in the film and television industry, and I have actors that we see on TV every day that are my friends, and I'm in their homes, and I know that they ain't got no money. I've been over rappers' cribs that will go on MTV cribs talking crazy, and I've been in their house like, word, you living a little bit better than me, because it's all based off perception. Even going back to what the brother talked about with the homosexuality with the rappers, here's the kicker. It's not that the rappers are gay. That's not it. That's a misconception. What it is, it's about control. See, that's what makes it, that's why you see so many buffoons nowadays in television and film, doing things that we know are like, wow, Jamie Foxx, you would say that? Wow, Jay-Z, you would actually sit there and do an anti-Semitic commercial? Because they're in a bind, because see, Jay-Z's not gay. I'll use him as an example. He's not gay, but once you reach a certain level within that weapon of mass destruction, you have to give something up. There's something that you're going to give up because you got to be down with that crew. And how do I know? Because it happened to me. That is why I'm standing here talking right now. I reached a certain level in that station. I was the only producer to ever come as a new kid and create a multi-million-dollar revenue generating show. So it's not even reality television. But they understand that majority of us, whether we like it or not, are lazy as hell. On a spiritual level. We think because we work 3 jobs that, nah, I'm not lazy. But spiritually, psychologically, the masses are lazy. But the majority of us, and I know it's going to be kind of harsh, but the majority of us will never fulfill our dreams. So we'll never be in a position to say what we would or would not do. You understand what I'm saying? We'll never be in that position. Because before I got there, I would say the same thing until I got there. You understand? So I literally lived the devil taking me to the mountain and saying, you can either go to the left, you have all of this. And I was there. It was ritualistically done. The vice president sent his right-hand man to me 3 straight weekends. They do everything in 3s. But now it's time for them to introduce me to the inner workings of this monster that's created. And that's why nowadays we see people caught up on secret societies, but it ain't no secret if everybody's talking about it. As a television producer who was Dave Chappelle's stand-in, which means I did his rehearsals season 1 or 2 of Chappelle's show, I saw what happened to Dave. Dave used to give me advice all the time. And one of the key things he told me was, no matter how much money they offer you, and he said they, as he pointed to my chest, he said, never forget who you are or where you come from. And he walked away from me. And I didn't get it at the time until the nigga left. Then I said, oh. And him and Charlie Murphy would tell me the same things all the time. And then I got it. This is a war. And these cats are sorcerers. And we need to take, and I know the words magic and sorcery takes people to make you think that I'm talking about the Eastwick Chronicles or Harry Potter, but this is real. because it's affecting our babies. So when they see all these signs visually that say whatever has happened in urban America as far as the perception on television and film, I was basically the fly on the wall. That's why this brother is so correct. There you go, so correct when he says we are at war. And I know it's somewhat difficult to believe that a war can be anything other than physical, but it is.
He asking me, you know what I'm saying, if I was gonna sell my soul, telling me what I needed to do to take my career to the next level in dark.
And I came to the realization that this world is nothing like we thought it was. And I also came to realize that the world is not controlled and run by the people and the institutions that we're told it is. The truth is very, very different. In actual fact, there are various organizations and groups working through secret society networks that over a vast period of time have come to control and manipulate pretty much every aspect of daily human life. And that absolutely includes the entertainment industry. So in all these cases, we have the control system that is running the show when it comes to the music industry, placing their little calling cards and their little clues in plain sight. They're letting you know who owns these artists, because their artists are owned lock, stock and barrel. And there's a phrase that you often hear, which is they've sold their souls for fame and fortune. And I would suggest that rather than that being a myth or a convenient kind of quip or phrase, there is a lot of truth to that statement.
I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, I never really heard the gospel in its purest, you know what I'm saying, in purity and in truth, you know what I'm saying. I ain't know that Jesus Christ was the only way.
Why do some artists who have a certain amount of talent, some not very much, why do they get picked up by the corporations to become these big influencers of young people and other people through the entertainment and the music industry, and others with incredible talent never get off the ground? It's because they are chosen.
Most people still today think that all entertainment is therefore nothing more than their entertainment. It never ever was that case.
What we see here is that this is actually all based up into psychological warfare done by military intelligence, wrapped up with occultism.
Disney World looks like a whole fun bunch of rides, but what we actually have here are a number of rides that are sponsored by military industrial corporations.
Happiest place on earth, my snow white ass.
Walt Disney was hired by J. Edgar Hoover to instill mind pattern programming into the children. It was an FBI plan. It was instigated.
To really appreciate how this could be done, you need to appreciate something called trauma-based mind control. During the last war in the concentration camps of Germany, they started to perfect the manipulation of a natural mechanism in the mind that shuts out trauma. If you could systematically traumatize someone and start with children, particularly before the age of 5 and 6, you could turn their minds into a honeycomb of self-contained compartments, none of which was aware of the other's existence.
they start with wanting to make you an obedient slave at first, and so they do a lot of sensory deprivation, they do a lot of sensory overload, and they switch between the two, and they do out and out torture. They take a small child and they electroshock. In my case, it was electroshock to the brain. I've had drugs injected into my body so that my nerves were just like on fire, and then they would just touch me. They kept me awake for many hours at night, would not let me sleep. They do use cattle prods on people in torturing them, and they do use electrical stimulation to the genitals and also on the teeth. I was made to eat my own feces as a little child. I was made to drink my own urine. I was not allowed to go to the bathroom. I was placed in a sensory deprivation tank. I had my shoulders, my knees, my toes, and my fingers, my elbows dislocated and then put back into place. I have had my eyelids taped open. I saw games of Russian roulette played where it was chosen beforehand that a child would die, and the child would put the gun up to his head and pull the trigger, and this child would end up dying. But it was meant to scare all of us, to keep us in terror.
Disney is used as a torture device to compartmentalize and bring about this dissociative identity disorder.
We've got these list of Mouseketeers. We've got Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake.
These were all poor little children that were brainwashed together in a Disney program.
What they will do is use these people in high-profile rituals.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. But there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
Let's be clear, I don't believe that they're really pulling energy and power into their phallus and energizing themselves to be God-men. They believe it.
Actually, right now we should talk a little about Tom Cruise and Scientology.
Scientology, according to L. Ron Hubbard Jr., is a black ritual done over a long period of time. Instead of getting all your trauma at once, you get it in little increments.
This footage is worth money.
Why? What footage?
This thing you're looking into?
It's a camera.
Exactly.
Britney Spears created quite a commotion here at this tattoo parlor in Sherman Oaks tonight when she showed up, well, let's just say with a whole new look that may not be so popular with her fans.
They aren't just pop stars trying to cry out for attention. These are people that have been put through abuse throughout their lives and raised in this environment that we can't even imagine.
There is breaking news now on Fox News Channel. The Los Angeles Times and the Associated Press are now reporting Michael Jackson has died in Los Angeles this afternoon.
And of course we know that the Jacksons were also ritually abused.
Really, it's a tragedy at the end of the day. That is the type of creature that his father produced.
You just said that you would practice the dance steps and your father would be holding a belt in his hand. Is that what you just said?
Yes. And he would tear you up if you missed.
I know what evil looks like, folks, and I'm telling you, that's an evil man. And the whole thing is an evil spectacle.
So I finally got my own TV show coming out next fall on CBS. It's a half-hour weekly show that I will host entitled Let's Hunt and Kill Billy Ray Cyrus. It's a fairly self-explanatory plot. Each week we let the hounds of hell loose and we chase that jarhead, no-talent, cracker asshole all over the globe. Until I finally catch that fruity little ponytail of his in the back, pull him to his knees, put a shotgun in his mouth like a big black cock of death.
That's That's how we sell sex to little girls. That's how we sell sex to little girls.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I come to you today representing families.
The White House claims he's too busy to even acknowledge Sheen's letter, never mind meet with Sheen. But obviously he's not too busy to talk about some mindless antics of this hip-hop star jumping on stage at an MTV Music Awards show.
He's a jackass.
In fact, Obama routinely makes mindless comments about everything under the sun. And yet he can't even acknowledge questions that are shared by the 9/11 victims' family members that are put out in this letter by Charlie Sheen.
And I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this bloody morality. There was moral outrage in America. It's disgusting, Janet Jackson. Immoral. I wonder which of these pictures is more sodding immoral.
Welcome to the X Factor. Your final starts right here.
They've been programmed. I'm sad because I know that it's hard for people like that to take a serious interest in world affairs. I see how easy it is for the masses to be manipulated.
It's a psychic weapon to blind people from all the majesty and beauty that is creation, and to blind people from their families and their children and just the amazing life force that's all around us.
The scale and fine detail in which these opinion formers right across society, from entertainment, media through to politics, etc., are actually brought through from childhood to do those things is absolutely incredible. And when the lid really comes off this, and it's coming off, then people are going to look at the world they've been living in and see just, even if people now think, yes, it's a controlled world, whoa, wait till you see the level of control.
We're standing up to the drama that they do bring. Just check the left hand, see the G-ring and mock rituals. What are they unleashing? Masonic rituals live on TV. It's all been exposed like the Versace flow. Just like MK Ultra is on my control. You tripping when you ain't sipping. Have a refill, you feeling like you in prison, huh? That's 'cause that's real.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. You can see it when you turn on your television. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
They've basically sold themselves to the industry, so they're completely controlled with everything they do. They're told what type of music to make, they're given specific producers to work with. They're not thinking for themselves in any way whatsoever anymore, and that's what was so good about the industry 15 years ago and previous, because I'm choosing 15 years because at which point I think it started going downhill rapidly.
Exactly, we're talking 1997, and I would pinpoint that very year as the year that it all changed.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%, because previous to that you could tell with the type of urban music that was coming out from the UK and the US, the artists were thinking for themselves. They were bringing out what they wanted to bring out. There wasn't as much control going on. They could literally take their track to a label, get it signed, and it would be out. Now it's a case of the label saying, right, this is what you're going to make, this is how it's going to sound, and this is who you're going to work with. From the bottom to the top, from the start to the finish, everything they're doing and releasing now is controlled.
What we're seeing in music videos now, for anyone again that just spends more than a couple of minutes studying it, the same symbols and the same images are cropping up time and time again.
covering of one eye, pyramid signs, all kinds of blatant and not so blatant symbology. What have you noticed about the sort of stuff that's going into videos, and what do you think is going on?
Well, I think videos is the greatest way to get people behind it all, because it's the kids watch them every single day on the likes of MTV, being a prime candidate for one of the biggest corporations involved in pushing the symbology, because if it's a big video from big artists, they don't really care what's in that video, they'll show it anyway. You look at the current cream of the crop right now, as we should call them, as your Rihannas, your Nicki Minaj's, these type of people. I can't understand why anyone in this day and age can actually listen to that music. No offence to the artists, but their music is absolute crap. And before you even look at the videos, what are kids hearing and thinking, this is great, this is a brilliant artist? Because, I've listened to music my whole life, as you have. What we're hearing nowadays isn't quality music, but it's getting to the top of the charts, and that's because it's all that's being allowed to be shown on the music networks and on the radio stations.
Not even music at all, Nicki Minaj.
Exactly, it's not music, it's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's become like a carnival act, because some of the stuff that they're showing in these videos isn't fun. It's becoming, ritualistic in some of the symbology that's going on. But kids are watching it and thinking, wow, this is amazing, this is awesome. Where if you look at a video from the mid-90s and before, you'll be seeing people having fun, having barbecues, having a laugh, having a drink, enjoying themselves. There's none of that going on now. It's literally filmed in a studio, hand over the eye, symbology all around, and they're not even noticing it, but we are. And they just think it's the norm to put that in videos, which it really isn't.
And when you question it, why do all these artists put their hands over their eye? People just say, oh, they're trying to look cool, it's just a cool thing to do. Well, if it's a cool thing to do, why is everyone doing it? Why haven't they found a new way to look cool? And there's going to come a point where guys like us have kind of died off, not literally, but, fallen off the scene, no longer active, so all our memories go with us. And I think that's what they're trying to do. It's a generational thing. They're trying to condition an entire generation. People are getting wise to it, courtesy of information such as this. We've got to do all we can to make people aware of how they're being duped, I feel. Something else that is affecting the music business in a major way in terms of the artists is MK Ultra Monarch programming.
Yes.
We're talking mind control. And to a lot of people, to hear that for the first time, to hear that artists, their favourite artists, may well be the subject of mind control experiments is going to be too much for them to accept, and they're just going to chuck it out by default. But it's true, there is absolute validity to this, there is absolute evidence available to suggest that it's going on. What is your understanding of how that is being incorporated into the music game?
What you've got to remember is music and film in our modern day culture, it's so underestimated the effect that it actually has on the overall psyche of everyone, how much when we listen to pop music, when we watch films, it influences us. Most of that is on a subconscious level, so when you take that into consideration, to imagine that level of influence that these media have on us while we're growing up, while we're forming our opinions about the world, if you were to imagine that and then think that the powers that be wouldn't have a way of infiltrating that and making it have this effect on us, well, okay, so is it really so far out to believe that some of these artists would be mind controlled in a way that they could pass off this programming onto us? If you only got to look a little bit into the government black projects, MK Ultra, which stands for Mind Control Ultra, and the people that have come out of these groups, and the harrowing stories of the torture and the things that they've been put through to become what they call MPD, which is multiple personality disorder. Nicki Minaj, she's an absolute textbook example of MPD. You can see her in interviews or listen to an interview speaking about these alter egos that she has.
Yes.
One of them's called Roman. And if you know anything about MPD or what they do to break people down, they talk about these alters of the mind. They break people down until they have these separate conscious or unconscious sub-personalities that can be drawn upon. These sub-personalities can be programmed with instructions that the other personalities have no idea about. So when Nicki Minaj is talking about Roman, what she could actually be talking about is one of these multiple
alters. Absolutely.
So for her to
Roman Zelensky,
which I'm sure, if you look into that, that's got some pretty deep connotations as well, just the name. But for her to be talking about that in an MTV-based interview, which at the end of the day is, for the layman, the people that are going to be listening to that stuff, why is that even being mentioned in an interview? That on its own begs questions. Nicki Minaj, another interesting thing is we're talking about how popular she is. I don't know if anyone saw on Facebook this week, there was a young guy somewhere, he went onto Nicki Minaj's page and actually wrote this, have you seen this? There's a big monologue about how much he hated Nicki Minaj.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
She's ruined the music industry,
yeah.
She's polluted the brains of all these teenage girls. This post got 694,000 likes. Now that really says something, because
go.
all these people are watching this, but I think in a way they're actually appreciating what garbage it is at the same time. But it's having almost this sort of hypnotic effect on them. So, for someone to write a post about how much they hate an artist and their music and how it's destroying music culture, and this kid was in his teens. So, to get 694,000 likes, that's got some validity. And, I just think Nicki Minaj is an absolutely perfect example of what we're talking about here with one of these, these artists which has been corrupted.
You've got the Roman Zelensky altar, which is an allusion to the film director Roman Polanski, of course, who directed Rosemary's Baby. That one's definitely worth looking into if you've never heard of it. And then you've got all these amusing accents that she does. She'll be in an interview or on a track, and she breaks into this sort of funny English accent that she does. And people just think it's a novelty, it's just this funny thing that she does. But to me, it seems to be like one of the altars is breaking through. It's easy to hate on Nicki Minaj because she makes such shite garbage music. But when you look into MK Ultra and what it actually involves and what the victims go through, really you should be, having major sympathy for anyone that's had to undergo that, because it's not pleasant. Lady Gaga the same way, because Lady Gaga has altars. She's got this sort of male persona. She dresses up in a suit and, acts like a male. I don't believe that all the artists we're talking about are mind control subjects, but those two to me certainly are.
I think Madonna is another very interesting case, because she's obviously involved in this, I think possibly at maybe a higher level than people like Minaj, because if you watch, this has had an awful lot of coverage, the Super Bowl thing this year, the way that she was portrayed in that ceremony was almost like some sort of high priestess.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get the impression that she's been, one of their playthings for a very, very long time, and she may have been initiated in, although she is probably still a puppet, and she seems to be initiated to a slightly higher level than some of the pop stars that we're talking about, which are more modern and recent, because remember how big Madonna has been for so many years, how many formative lives she has touched with her music videos and her her art. And you've only really got to look what's happened to her over the years, how much she's been manipulated and altered. She's like a ragdoll puppet for basically whatever image they want to portray at any given time. You keep an eye on her, and keep an eye on the videos, because that is absolutely plastered with the kind of symbolism that we're talking about. The all-seeing eyes, the pyramids, the Masonic symbols. It's, her stuff is full of it.
Totally. Do you think it's become almost fashionable for people to talk about the Illuminati? It's a bit of a buzzword. I'm sure a lot of people use it without fully having researched it or understanding what it means, but you're getting reference to it in tracks. There's a current Rick Ross track where he says, he's making money, must be Illuminati. And you hear people say, oh, Jay-Z's Illuminati. Whereas, as far as I'm concerned, these artists aren't Illuminati. In their dreams, really. They would never be up there in the upper echelons of what that secret society represents. They're just puppets and stooges of the Illuminati.
And I think everyone's jumping on the bandwagon without even understanding the actual meaning, or they're just using it because it is the buzzword. And so many times you notice on Facebook, things will be posted and people say the Illuminati are behind it, the Illuminati are at it again. And you think, well, no, that's absolutely nothing to do with them. That's just a natural occurring event, but you're blaming it on something you have no clue about because it is the chosen buzzword of the moment. As for the artists themselves, you're absolutely right. In their wildest dreams, they would be part of it. Obviously, the majority of them are controlled from a higher level by elements within that kind of secret society, but they themselves are not Illuminati in any way, and that's all they are, they're pawns.
Break your freaking neck, boy!
In the 1980s, U2 were the most popular rock band in the world and called the Band of the Decade. U2 was also given the mantle by Time magazine as the conscience of rock in an era where blatantly satanic heavy metal bands ruled the musical landscape. Indeed, while many musicians were unabashedly embracing Satan as their lord in both lyrics and lifestyle, many of U2's songs contained a splattering of biblical imagery. Much of U2's biblical imagery, though, was ambiguous at best and served to draw many unwitting Christians into the demonic world of the music scene who would have otherwise escaped it if it were not for the fact that Satan had thrown them a bone. My personal conviction since U2's inception has been that their success has been part of Satan's strategy to capture as many of those who would have otherwise been keen to the more blatant forms of Satan's devices in the cesspool of rock. Here we see Bono of U2 singing Helter Skelter, which became Charles Manson's theme song for his murderous rampage. While singing Helter Skelter, we see Bono wielding an upside-down cross, which has a singular message in rock music. U2 make it clear as to just what God they are serving in songs like God's Country, when they declare, quote, I stand with the sons of Cain. Cain was the wicked man who murdered his innocent brother, Abel. God's word states emphatically that Cain was in league with Satan, warning that, quote, Cain was of the evil one, end quote. God's word warns against those who would, like U2, declare that they stand with the sons of Cain, declaring, quote, woe or judgment unto them, for they have gone the way of Cain, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. In the mid-1980s, after U2 had already had a huge following, they made it quite clear as to whom they were truly following as they began to repeatedly cover the Rolling Stones' anthem of praise to Satan, Sympathy for the Devil.
Pleased to meet you. I hope you guess my name. Oh yeah, you know I'm pleased to meet you. I hope you guess my name.
Bono, U2's lead singer, has repeatedly assumed the role of Lucifer in his music in, for example, the Fly character, which was an allusion to Beelzebub, or the Lord of the Flies. Beelzebub is referred to in God's word as the Prince of Demons. After employing the persona of Beelzebub, the Prince of Demons, Bono would then later employ the character of Mephisto. During the Zoo TV tour, Bono revealed his new satanic persona in Mephisto as he proudly pranced around the stage with satanic horns upon his head. Bono stated that Mephisto is an extension of his Fly persona. The concept of Mephisto was taken from a German film by a similar name, which was actually inspired by the story of the ancient sorcerer Mephistopheles. The German film is a film about a rock star who sells his soul to Satan for fame and success. U2 took this even a step further in their song Even Better Than the Real Thing, wherein they reveal the Fly to be Sgt. Pepper, among other things. We have already noted in our expose on the Beatles that Sgt. Pepper is a likely reference to Satanist Aleister Crowley. U2 did not at first reveal what they were really all about in the early 1980s in an effort to draw millions of Christians into their web of deception. In an interview with Spin magazine, Bono admitted that he regrets that he was not able to identify his satanic side earlier than the self-revelation as the Fly or Mephisto. He stated, quote, one thing I might regret from early times was just showing the one side of me, he says. The egomaniac was always there too, and some people have always seen me with horns. To be sure, Bono has revealed his true colors through U2's music as the Fly and Mephisto. U2 fans who have a hard time reconciling Bono's actions with their faith should be aware that Bono has long been about deception. He has stated, quote, it's all a con, a way of putting people off from the fact that it's a heavy mother. It's probably our most serious record yet. It's the least serious title. It just fooled everyone. They thought we'd lightened up, which is totally untrue. We're miserable bastards. Bono declared, quote, I lie all the time. I only always tell the truth in my songs. Bono claims to have been influenced by Oscar Wilde when unveiling the satanic sorcerer Mephisto, and in particular Wilde's declaration, quote, man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth, end quote. Ironically then, we see that Bono, in the donning of a mask depicting Satan, U2 has unmasked their good boy image and revealed the satanic power behind their music as they draw as many as possible into the coming kingdom of Antichrist. Bono, who has sung about wearing a cross around his neck, and the next breath stating, quote, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. What is it but a denial of Jesus Christ, where in one breath, Bono sings about wearing a cross around his neck, and then in the next breath sings, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. For those who do not understand what Bono really meant with the aforementioned quote, I will allow him to explain it. Quote, he stated, we're very clear, and it's very clear in our music, that we don't have any answers. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. How much more clear can you make it? End quote. When asked in an interview, do you still believe that Jesus is the way? Bono stated, I don't accept that. I don't accept that fundamentalist concept. I believe, what is it? The way is narrow, as the eye of the needle, and all that. But I think that's just to keep the fundamentalist out. However, Jesus made it as clear as possible. Jesus said, quote, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus also declared, quote, I tell you the truth, the man who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way is a thief and a robber. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. He will come in and out and find pasture. Incredibly, much of U2's music is actually more blasphemous of God than that of Marilyn Manson's. In the song Love Rescues Me, like Pink Floyd, they twist the 23rd Psalm, stating, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, yet I will fear no evil. I have cursed thy rod and staff. They no longer comfort me. In their song, When I Look at the World, they sing, quote, when I look at the world, I'm in the waiting room, can't see for the smoke. I think of you and your holy book, while the rest of us choke. In their song, Peace on Earth, they sing, Jesus, sing a song you wrote. The words are sticking in my throat. Peace on earth, hear it every Christmas time, but hope and history won't rhyme, so what's it worth, this peace on earth? In their song, If God Will Send His Angels, they state, God has got his phone off the hook, babe. Would he even pick it up if he could? So where is the hope? Where is the faith and the love? In their song, Wake Up Dead Man, U2 speak of Jesus as though he were dead and needs to wake up. And they speak of him as being confused with his hands tied and not able to help. They state, Jesus, were you just around the corner? Did you not think to try to warn her, or are you working on something new? Satan has used U2 to sow massive seeds in the hearts of those in the world and of Christians to get them to doubt God and his holy and loving character. God's word warns severely of those who would blaspheme God, stating, quote, woe or judgment to him who quarrels with his maker. And the scriptures state that it's the wicked whose, quote, heart rages against the Lord. Jesus Christ is far from a dead man that needs to wake up. In fact, Jesus was put to death on the cross for the sins of the world and rose triumphantly on the third day, and he ascended to the Father and will return again to destroy the kingdom of Antichrist and deliver those who put their faith in him.
It's the same thing you just did. And it was gone, dude. It was gone. And then we just said, okay, let's just give up on that. Let's write a tribute to the greatest song.
Okay, doing a tribute. So,
and that became our like number one
the
hit.
tribute song is about saving souls from demons or something,
Yeah.
as I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what was?
Well, you know, there's a rich history of the devil in rock and roll. It goes all the way back to like Elvis was everyone said he's playing the devil's music. What was that great song? The devil went down to Georgia.
Oh, Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels. He had some devil in there, and it goes even back to before that. Who's Robert Johnson?
Right.
You can find his roots, you know, way back to the beginning of rock, and so you know, had we sold our soul to the devil? How else can you explain us being here on the show? How did these two guys get on
And people laugh and clap. One more
We
time.
sold our soul to the devil? How else can you explain us being here on the show? How did these two guys get on that show? Think about it.
Now, has
I need to wake up. I need to get a clear mind. I need to wake up. Try to remind. I need to wake up. Stand up. I need to get a clear mind. I need to wake up. Stand up. Try to remind. I need to wake up. I need to get a clear mind. I need to wake up. Try to remind. I need to wake up. Stand up. I need to get a clear mind. I need to wake up. Stand up. Try to remind.
escute bem, com o nível de bruxaria, satanismo, pornografia e espiritismo nos vídeos da Disney. Eu somente lhe vou dizer alguns nesta noite porque o tempo não permite, porque eu quero que a sua casa seja livre como a nossa casa foi livre. Por exemplo, no vídeo de Mermaid, como se chama? Mermaid, The Little Mermaid, aqui no Brasil. Linda Sereia, veja aqui, meu querido. Quero que você veja a capa da sereia. Se você parou para pensar e para examinar na capa, a coluna terceira da mão direita para a esquerda é o membro genital, o membro sexual do homem parado para cima. Este vídeo de Little Mermaid é um vídeo de pornografia infantil. Detrás da música, onde diz kiss the girl, beije a moça, há um grupo jamaicano falando palavras africanas para amaldiçoar a cada criança que está escutando o vídeo. Por exemplo, no vídeo de Aladdin, como se diz Aladdin? Aladino. Se você para o vídeo em slow motion, devagar, não sei o que chama, slow motion, você coloca devagar, você verá que ele diz tão rápido, mas você não pode entender. Ele diz, good teenagers, take off your clothes. Ele está dizendo, crianças boas e adolescentes, tire a sua roupa. Tem um vídeo que tem causado sensação tremenda, se chama Pocahontas. Você sabe o que quer dizer a palavra Pocahontas? Você já estudou essa palavra indígena, o que quer dizer Pocahontas? É uma palavra indígena com dois sentidos. Poca, espírito. Hontas, abismo. Espírito invocado do abismo. Quando você diz Pocahontas, você está chamando o diabo ao lado do seu lado e ao lado dos seus filhos. Isso que a Disney está ensinando: pornografia, espiritismo, satanismo e destruição aos nossos filhos. Há um vídeo chamado The Lion King, o Rei Leão, o Leão Rei. A revista Time disse que é o vídeo mais sujo, mais perverso e carregado de violência que nenhum outro vídeo a Disney jamais produziu. Que as crianças que olham o Lion King hoje serão os assassinos amanhã. Você sabe quem produziu o vídeo de Lion King? Foi um homem homossexual que já morreu de AIDS em Nova York. Se chamou John Smith. Ele que criou, segundo o filme, o leão que caminha afeminado. Onde é que você viu um leão afeminado? A música do Lion King é da nova era de Shirley MacLaine. Por isso as crianças ficam vidradas, porque a música é uma música do inferno. É uma música dedicada ao demônio. E se você para o vídeo de Lion King, o Rei Leão, o Leão Rei, em slow motion, quando ele pega com as patas no chão e as partículas do pó que se levantam no meio da televisão, forma a palavra sex. S-E-X, sexo. E você ainda crê que Disney é entretenimento familiar? Do you really believe that? Você crê que a Disney é para crianças? E vou apresentar isso, você nunca viu na sua vida. É a reportagem do Dr. James Dobson, do programa chamado Focus on the Family, Enfoque a Família. Os livros dele estão traduzidos em português. Está Mickey Mouse apresentando o último vídeo da Disney. Sabe que você quer saber o nome? Growing Up Gay, crescendo homossexual. Agora a Disney criou 2 Mickey Mouse homossexuais e 2 Minnie Mouse lésbicas. Aqui nesse vídeo de Growing Up Gay, o porta-voz da Disney convida a todos os adolescentes homens a explorar o maravilhoso mundo da homossexualidade. Isso é Disney. Michael Eisner, o dono da Disney, de 60% das ações que ele tem, ele deixou a sua mulher em Burbank, perto da minha casa na Califórnia, e se casou com um homem homossexual 3 meses atrás no Disney World, Orlando, Flórida. Eu vou lhe dar um conselho nessa noite em nome de Jesus. Você não sabe o que é Disney. É um império satânico, feito com uma assombrosa precisão para destruir a tua casa e para destruir os teus filhos. E vou lhe dar um conselho nessa noite. Destrua esses vídeos e salve a sua casa da maldição do dia de amanhã.